Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm to talk about Crimson Hide leather knife. They launched a new knife. It's a Japanese style knife, but the name is Crimson Flush Cut Knife. So it's been a while since I did the review for Japanese leather knife, so I think this is a good chance to introduce you guys some of the new tool for your Japanese style leather knives. So before I talk details, I'd like to show you where you can purchase this. So this is the Crimson Hide website. This is crimsonhide.com. You can see in the tool section, Crimson Flush Cut Knife. US dollar is 56 cents. So obviously it's basically it's 51 US dollar knife, which is very good price. So I think Japanese leather knife, they tend to go between 25 to all the way up to 100 US dollars. And I think it's a good midpoint price range for Japanese leather knife, and I would like to talk some details about it. So if we take a look at the packaging, they come with a very nice paper box. It says Crimson Hides with a nice stamp logo. I like this kind of golden reddish color, which is very nice. I like this. If you open the box, we protected this cloth, protected the blade, and the blade was nice and set in the packaging. And I live in Germany right now, and from Singapore to Germany it took really fast. So with the economic shipping, even it is really fast. So you don't have to worry about shipping, because I have listened some of the subscribers that if they should worry about international shipping, whether buy from Singapore or Japan. I had personally no issue ever from Singapore and Japan, so I think it's perfectly fine. But it depends on where you are, obviously, and given this chaotic condition, it might take a little longer. So if you don't want to take any chances, upgrade your shipping a little bit higher. But I think it will be no problem right now. So the overall construction is pretty much straightforward. So it has a blade and has a handle, and there is no pin construction or anything. It's just a solid type of handle, which I really like because there is no seams and there is no protrusion. And I must say the handle is extremely comfortable. I had to talk to the owner of the Crimson Hide before. We were kind of exchanging the ideas back and forth. What's my opinion about the handle for leather knives and so on. And really, to be honest, really you shouldn't do so much about your handles. And the owner of the Crimson Hide really knows about his craft, and he's really passionate into leather crafts and his tools as well. He always tried to invent new type of tools and really come up with the good tools. And I think this time he really nailed it very well. This handle is really comfortable. I mean, it is kind of squarish, like kind of octagonal handle. But I mean, if in your hand, it doesn't feel like it's octagonal or these sharp edges. It's not even sharp, but it doesn't feel any discomfort. It doesn't really give you any discomfort. It just feels into your hand really well. It just kind of gives you the feeling of very secure grip. And having this kind of facets, this will prevent the knife will not twist around your handle in your hand, because this is the traditional type of Japanese leather knife. This one is I made, which has a slightly longer blade, and it has a traditional wooden handle. Traditionally, this type of oval handle is very common in Japanese leather knife. Everyone uses this handle, and not many knife makers produce these handles. Actually, in Japan, there are certain suppliers who make this handle for a lot of tool manufacturers. So a lot of tool companies just make this blade, and then they buy this handle, which I did as well. And I made this blade, and I just bought the handle and then just put it on. It is comfortable. It is very light. It is very slick. But then sometimes it feels a little bit slippery because of the oval shape. But oval shape is really comfortable. But this one, I can say for sure, this will just stay in your hand very well, very strong. Yeah. The handle material, I believe this is G10 handle. It is synthetic material, but then it is very, how should I say, it is a very popular material for leather knives. It's more of a modern style handle, it is not a wood, but then wood tend to shrink, or it can also crack during the use depending on where you are. So I think having a synthetic material, it will help with the moisture content in your hand, and also in the environment that you're in. So being synthetic, some might not like it, but then there is also advantage for that. So you should also think about that. And they have the Crimson logo engraved to their handle as well. So let me show you closely. So they have engraved Crimson logo to their handles. You know? They don't have anything written on the blade. So it's just a blade. Single bevel. This is for left-handed. You know, I'm left-handed, so this one is left-handed. So let's talk about the blade. So this is very thick high-speed steel. So this is about, I think, 3 or 4 millimeter thick, very thick high-speed steel. So all of the leather knives, if you have purchased leather knives, thin knives works the best. So that's already known science and known fact that thin knives works the best. But giving it this very thick blade, it gives you very stable blade, so it will not wobble during your sharpening. It will not bend, so you will have a easier. You will be much more comfortable when you sharpen your blade. So this blade will not reflect while you're sharpening, and this will not bend. The neck part will not bend also during the sharpening. And traditional leather knives like this one that I made has a slightly longer blade. It is traditionally fact that the blade should be around 68 millimeter or slightly under 7 centimeter. That is a traditional looking. And this one, however, it has a slightly shorter blade, which is, I will get the blade, and the ruler for the measurement. So this one has about 5 centimeter long blade. So this is very small blade, yeah, and it has a very thick blade stock, which can be very problematic if it has a traditional 12-degree angle like this one, because the blade is thicker. If you have a 12-degree, it will be really stiff angled, and it will really hard time going through the leather into deeply. But this one has a large bevel angle, has a really large surface, so it will be not problem. It has about 18-degree angle according to their website. It is very thick blade, robust blade, but then giving the large bevel, I think this will be not a problem when you cut leather. And I've tested it a few times on leather, and I think this is not a big problem. And for sharpening, I don't think this will be also a problem at all, because given the blade is quite narrow than traditional one. This one is 25 millimeter one, and this one is 30 millimeter one, which is a little bit narrower than 36 traditional Japanese leather knife. So sharpening also is not a problem. Maybe I should do the sharpening video separately. And this is high-speed steel, so it will sharpen beautifully on your Japanese water stones, or ceramic stones as well. So I will do the cutting demo for you guys if you guys wonder how this knife cuts. First of all, I will just use this Japanese cutting board and the leather. So Japanese leather knife, usually people use it for vegetable tan leather, and because what Japanese leather knife could do is it can cut through the leather, thick leather, really easily without too much effort, because how it cuts leather, and because of the whole hand motion pushes downwards. Instead of have one of the pen knives, they kind of have to hold it with your index finger, have to drag in. The blade actually matters in that point as well, but then amount of cutting force that you are giving in, you cannot really beat the whole hand move like this. So that plays a part as well. So normal leather knives cut leather well like this. It needs a little sharpening at the moment. Crimson Knight comes right out of the box very sharp like this. Okay, I already made a video how to use your Japanese leather knife, so if you haven't watched the video, you can click here, then you'll see how the leather knives are used. So you have to be aware of the angle of the bevel, and you have to cutting in. So it gives you very flush cut, very clean cut to your edge, and it gives you very stable surface because of the very thick blade, and also very small blade as well. If you have very long blade, it's difficult to use, obviously, because even small change in your angle makes a huge difference at the point. But if you have a short blade, then you will have not so much of a deflection as you go, because the distance that you move is smaller than the longer one. So being shorter blade it can be really downsides if you're trying to see I only have this much of a blade left for your leatherwork, but then this, given high speed steel, given rock wool hardness, this much of length will take around, I think, 10 years, more than 10 years to be shortened if you ever sharpen your knife and you're using it. If you're an everyday worker, I bet around 5 to 7 years to use this blade up. So don't worry too much about the life of the blades, because this blade will last very, very long time. Yeah. So it is very sharp knife. And also comfortable as well. The one thing that I was very impressed and liked about this blade, lastly, is about the straightness and how accurately this knife was set. So when I buy Japanese leather knife anywhere in the world, I always look for the straightness, how it's inserted into the handle. And let me tell you, most often times, check with your Japanese leather knives right now. If you look at your knives, and if you look at it in front of your eye, your blade is crooked. So what I mean is, your handle is straight, right? And then your blade also has to follow this straightness along the edge. That's the correct way, or at least it should be. Oftentimes what happens is, if you as you sharpen it like this on your sharpening stone, you're putting a pressure downwards like this, and the neck part of most Japanese leather knives are very weak, because they are made of everything are very soft steels. As you push it down, the neck part moves it, so your blade kind of bends it outwards, but you don't feel it because you always pay attention to the bevel. So you're just cutting it like this with your hand wrapped around like this. So most people don't feel like it's a trouble, but then it gives you kind of misalignment, which I really don't like. So when I buy, at least I should always look for the straightness, if your knives are straight or not. So when I make knives, I tend to follow that as well. And when I tried to look at the knife Crimson Knight made, it is perfectly straight. Yeah. So as this angle as well. So as here as well. So it is straight. And also one thing I really noticed about funny about the blade and this handle was, because it has a flatness everywhere, you can just lie down on your table like this without worrying about rolling up or just falling it down, or the blade touching the work surface. Yeah. For example, as you can already see, the blade kind of sinks in. Now the tip of the blade now touching the ground or leather, maybe. Just the weight issue. It's just a weight issue. It's not a problematic, but when I saw this knife just being on the table, very stable like this, it kind of gave me a very interesting look that, oh, this thing can be just stored flat like this without moving around, or without just wobbling around, just like this. So I thought it was a very cool idea, and making a handle straight and also having these facets, it's a great idea. Gives you really good comfortness. You often see sometimes that knives handle have these finger grooves on them. Yeah, you can see, maybe you can think that as very good grip because your finger locks into the spot. but then it's really uncomfortable handle that if you have a finger groove like that, it means only one position can be fixed to that handle, and like your fingers cannot move anywhere because it's locked into the handle. So unless it's a war knife or any trench knife or any military knives, those finger grooves are very avoided, because it just limits your option how you grip your knife. So this type of straight, slightly curved, that forms around your palm very well, it just gives you very gentle comfort in your hand really well. So I think the handle is really good option. I hope maybe they launch some other knives with this type of same handle. I think it could be a good success as well. I'm not sure how they attach the blade into the handle, but it seems very robust. It doesn't go anywhere. So maybe he will launch other knives with the same handle. I'll be heavily interested as well. So that was it. There wasn't actually much about the tool itself, because it's quite straightforward. It is Japanese style leather knife, but then it's a smaller one, little bit cuter one. So just everything is all the same, but then their blade is high speed steel, which is very nice for leather knives, and the handle is very unique, very comfortable. I like it. So that's it. So if you want to know about leather tools and leathercraft, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and we'll see another video. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, I will see you guys next video. Bye bye.